Hey guys and gals, welcome back to another VinnyVid Productions video. About 2 weeks ago, I called in the troops to give me a hand to get my layout a little further along and get it running because August 14th, that's a week from Monday, I will have a visitor that will be in the Phoenix area and wishes to come by and see my layout and visit with me. At the end of this month, I will have another special visitor coming to visit. So anyhow, I wanted to get my layout up and running. I called out the troops, George, Joe, and Ryan, and they were more than happy to give me a hand putting stuff together and getting stuff running. So I appreciate their help. If you guys like the content of my videos, it would be helpful if you contribute to my PayPal Me account. Every little bit helps. With all that being said, let's go ahead and get on with the video. Alright guys, we're going to start here in room number 2. This is the first turnout we put in for the siding. Trains heading northbound direction. We'll be calling this the Wickenburg siding. And we'll come on down here, and all the buildings in the background are all scratch built by me. And we'll continue on down, and we also installed a maintenance away track. And Ryan took it upon himself to actually tack down the track rather than glue it. My procedure is usually gluing it, but he didn't like that, so he said we're going to tack it down. So anyhow, we spent about 7 hours here just a couple days ago to get this up and running. And now I'll show you why I have a maintenance away track. Ryan took it upon himself to do this for me. It's a Jeep 38 that he added operating ditch lights in the rear and operating ditch lights in the front. And he also put some loads on the flat cars, put some ballast in the ballast car. And as you can see, there's operating ditch lights in the front. He also repainted these guys for me. They used to be UP, now they're BNSF. And if you check out the number on the rear, 6951. Alright, anyhow, let's move on into the other room and we'll show you what's going on there. Alright guys, as we enter back into train room number 1, you'll see that the siding is still here. And it will end right there, just before it goes across the bridge. Anyhow, the train is going in the southbound direction. We'll be calling this the Skull Valley siding. And as you can see, we put a turnout in here. This goes to the Matthew Y. And also we install Cobalt machines. And I just need to, as you can see, wire them up. Anyhow, all the track from here all the way down under is all secured up to and including the Drake module. Anyhow, I'll get back to you in a few minutes and show you what else I've been up to. Alright guys, another thing I accomplished this past week is I installed all my almost all my ground throughs. I have one left to do. There's 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and that's the one that I have left to do. Anyhow, to get on further with this video. Okay guys, at the beginning of the intro I mentioned that I called out all the troops. And George was kind enough to give me this piece of cardboard that was one side of a refrigerator carton. I actually think it's a little bit too thick, but for now, beggars can't be choosers, and so I decided to use it. What I'm doing is I'm actually cutting it here on my living room floor. There is no Mrs. Vinny, so I can get away with a lot of stuff that I do in my house. Anyhow, I cut some of them out. Some are fatter than the other. The fatter ones, they will be the main supports, and the skinnier ones will be the ones that I'll weave through the uprights. Anyhow, let me continue on this and we'll see where we get to in the next clip. But I decided to give my hand at the cardboard weaving technique. I've never tried this before, and I don't know if I'm using too fat of a cardboard, but this is what I've got so far. And instead of trying to figure out how to do a lift out portion for this section here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it like a canyon. So anyhow, I started doing this over here, and let me see if I can get back there and show you what else is going on. Hold on, guys. Come on, go away. There you go. Sorry about that. But anyhow, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it look like a canyon back here, because there really is no tunnels on the Peavine sub. So the train will be exposed in this area right here in the background, and that'll be the only place it'll be exposed. The backdrop, I'll do some more to fill in the whole back portion there, and we'll get on with the rest of it. Also, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but I made my own bridge abutments, and that was real easy to do. What I did was take a piece of 1x2, and I laminated some of this stacked stone, which is a Plastruct product, and I just hit it over with some washes, and that's what I got. And actually I'm pretty happy with that. Anyhow, let's see what else we can get into. Be back shortly. Alright guys, what you're looking at in front of you right now are the concrete foundations for the stanchions or the bents or the towers, whatever you want to call it, for the Hell Canyon Bridge. It started out as a piece of 1x4, and as you can see, this one here needs to get cut, but I can't fire up my chop saw yet because it's only 6:30 in the morning. Then I took my for sale sign, or posted sign, whatever you want to call it, and I laminated it to the 2x4s using a hot glue gun. Now guys, let me tell you something. I learned something the very, very hard way. Don't get this glue on you, because this is what will happen. But luckily, it made my upside down initial. Funny. Okay, so the next step was to give it a primer. And for the primer, I used this Valspar Primer Gray. And then finally, this guy here, way back in the day when I had money and was working, I was able to buy Flowcruel paint to do it. But what I did was I took a sample to Home Depot, and they made me this jar of aged concrete. So as soon as time allows, I will go ahead and cut this one, finish this one up, and then these guys will be ready to actually secure to the layout. So let me get on with that, and I'll bring you back when all 4 of these are done. Alright guys, what you're looking for in front of you now is the bridge piers that I've done. They didn't come out the best. There's an old saying that goes, haste makes waste, and as you can see, right here and right here, I didn't get good connections on the corners. But for now, these will work. Eventually I'll probably redo them. They will get temporarily secured to the layout, so I can do the scenery around them. Anyhow, we got a lot more stuff to go over on this video, so let's get going on the next part. Alright guys, now that you've seen the track plan as it stands right now, I ran into another little issue, and as you can see, the Wittenberg building kind of hangs over the track a little bit. So I guess I need to modify that. The first buildings that I built, which are those guys right there, they were the right depth from front to back. But these guys, and the one that goes right here, have to be modified. So hang on, and I'll take you into the other room, and I'll show you what modifications I made to this one here, and the same thing will have to be done to that one there. Alright Alright guys, we're at my work area now, one of my work areas I should say, and this is the second row of stores that are in Wickenburg, Old Town Wickenburg. To get it to fit between the road and the sidewalk and the track, I had to cut off this much. That was one whole store that went on this side, back here, and this was just the plain wall that went on that side. Anyhow, I'm really not happy with the way these buildings have gone. I've used the really cheap plastic on this, the really thin stuff. They're not very stable, so I am deciding whether or not I might do another set of these buildings and the first buildings that I did. I've been scratch building for more than 2 years, probably 3 years or so, and these were one of the very first that I did. So I feel that my building abilities has increased, so I will try and do these again, but not anytime in the near future. I have too much other stuff going on. Anyhow, I'll take you out to the layout when I get the other building cut down, and we'll see how everything's going to look in Wickenburg. Be back in a minute. Alright guys, what you see in front of you now is the third Wickenburg structure that needs to get modified. As you can see, I've already pulled off the back with minimal amount of damage. And each one of these walls has to be cut down by 1 inch, so it'll fit between the sidewalk and the track with no interference. Anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and get on with that project, and I'll bring it back when they are all cut. Alright guys, as you can see, I've got my building clamped down to my table. I've got my 1 inch mark drawn out here, and the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and cut this one out, and I will do the same for each and every one of the walls that are in there. I think there's 6 walls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 walls. Anyhow, let me get on with this and bring it back when all the walls are cut. Alright guys, this is the finished product of me trimming down this building. This is all that I have cut off of this, and let me tell you something, this was probably one of the hardest things I've ever done without taking the entire complex apart. I also mentioned in the beginning that I was going to redo these buildings. In fact, I'm probably going to redo all 3 sections of the Wickenburg area because, like I said, I used the real thin styrene, and I'm not happy with it. So we'll do that over again sometime in the near future. Anyhow, let's take this out to the layout and see what it looks like out there, and see if we have enough room now. Be back in a minute. Alright guys, here's the buildings in place, and as you can see, I've got just barely enough room to get a train behind there. I was going to try... Well, sorry for being out of focus there guys, I don't know what happened, but anyhow, I was going to try and pull up the road, as you can see here, but as you can see, it broke, so I decided not to do that, and when I put this back down, I'll just attribute that crack to a weathering part of the road. Anyhow, we got a lot more stuff to get into here, so let's get on with it. And as you can see, basically all the buildings are set up the way they are, and then this is the depot right here. There's not supposed to be an E8 there, there's supposed to be an old-time steamer. So if any of you guys got an old steamer that's broken and don't run but just looks alright, you can donate it to me, and I will put your name on here as a donation from you. Anyhow, let's carry on with this video. We've got lots more to do. Be back in a little bit. Alright guys and gals, this is going to be a little bit of a VinnyVid tidbit. This is how I hook up LEDs onto my Cobalt machines. This will work also for Tortoise machines. So, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys a couple of diagrams, and we'll go over the diagrams. And I'll let you know after that we'll do the real thing. Anyhow, we're going to start off with the basic diagram and how you need to hook up your double pole, double throw switch. So, here is your power supply, 12 to 16 volts. This is your double pole, double throw switch on. There is no off center position on this switch. Anyhow, first thing you need to do is wire it this way. Make an X from this terminal to this terminal, and then from this terminal to this terminal. Then take your power supply and go into either the top two or the bottom two terminals. The middle two terminals are going to go out to your Cobalt machine or your Tortoise machine, and this is a basic wiring right here. Now I will show you LEDs. Okay, you guys know what LED stands for. Light emitting diode. Okay, now I said the word diode. Do you know what the word diode means? Or what it does? It allows flow of electricity or current in one direction. On an LED, you have two leads coming off. One is shorter than the other. One is called the anode and one is called the cathode. I don't remember which is which, but what you need to do is you connect the anode with the cathode, and then you do the same thing on this side. Now you take the cathode and hook it up to the diode. Sorry, to the anode. Okay, now I'll show you what this is going to look like when it's all wired up, and then we'll get down to the workbench and I'll show you how I do it. And this system will work for Tortoise and Cobalt machines. I'm not quite sure if it'll work on anything with servos or snap switches or anything like that. And if you guys are using servo motors, you need to check out Western Centurion's channel. He has got some really neat stuff going on with servos there. Anyhow, back to this. Here's your 12 volt power supply. It's hooked up to either the upper ones or the lower ones. It doesn't make a difference. Just a matter of the orientation of your switch machine. So, you got the power coming in, you got your X in the middle, and you got your power going out. Now, one of the terminals that goes to either pin 1 or pin 8 on the Cobalt or Tortoise machine is going to get a break in the wire. So, one will go directly to the machine, and the other will come down and will go into one side of the diode setup, and then the other side of the diode setup will go out to the opposite pin to make the Cobalt machine work. Anyhow, excuse me, now that all of that's being said, I will show you the components you need to do this particular job. I'll be back in a few minutes. Alright guys, what you're going to need is a power supply. This is a 12 volt, well actually it's a multi-voltage power supply. As you can see on here, it'll go from 12 volts up to 24 volts. I got it set on the 12 volt setting. Your double pole, double throw switch. It's got to be on. No middle section, okay? Here's all your terminals. So you would join this one and this one. Sorry, I'm out of focus there. Let me go over that again. The upper left to the lower right, and then the upper right to the lower left, and that'll give you your X in the center. Your power could come in either on these two or these two. It don't make a difference. If the orientation's wrong, just flip the switch over in your panel, whatever. Okay, so that's the switch. Now here's a switch that I did already, or actually George did this one for me. I know it doesn't look like an X, but there's just not enough room in here to run some wires, so I actually looped them on the outside. That's for the polarity reversing part of the switch. Next, I went ahead and soldered the output lines to the Tortoise machine. And you see one is shorter than the other because that's where we're going to put the LEDs. Okay. Next, we'll get to the 12 volt LEDs. I think I mentioned that already. I get all my supplies, electrical supplies, from a place in California called All Electronics. You guys should check them out. I don't get paid anything for saying that, but you should just check them out because they have lots of stuff. I get my wire from them. It's 24 gauge. I think it was for 100 feet. It was like $8 or something like that. I don't remember. It's been a while. And of course, you're going to need your switch motor. This is a Cobalt. And I like the Cobalt because of this one fact. When you're ready to hook up wires, what you do is press it down, stick your wire in, and let it go, and boom, you're done. No soldering, no nothing. Anyhow, give me a minute and we'll set up the switch machine and show you how it works. Be right back. Alright guys, I'm going to show you the LEDs now that I set up for my layout. This was a test right here, and as you can see I've got the short one with the long one, and then the short one with the long one. But I didn't do mine for my layout like this. I actually did it like this, and the reason why I put the wire in between is so when I go to put it in my fascia, I'm able to bend it and put it in where it needs to go. Anyhow, give you a demo on this. This is a basic hookup right now. It's just from the switch to the Tortoise machine, and I have this jumper wire in here in lieu of the LEDs. Anyhow, there's one way and there's the other way. Now, give me a minute and I will hook up the LEDs and I will show you how this works. One side and the other side. Okay, now I want to get this under so you guys can see that. Get down there. Alright, I don't know if you guys actually, let me turn out this light, maybe it'll help. Let me turn out the other one. Okay, that's a lot better. Anyhow, you can see that one LED is on right now, and when I flip the switch, the other LED goes on. And the reason why I do it this way is because I don't have to use the switches that are in the Cobalt or Tortoise machine. So that saves for other accessories, as you know, if you want to put them on dwarf lights or signal lights up on the top of the layout, you can do that. Power out your frogs, whatever. Anyhow, I hope you guys enjoyed this little tutorial on how to do LEDs without using the internal switches of your Tortoise or Cobalt machine. And like I said, if you're into using servos instead of these type of machines, check out Mark at Western Centurion channel. I will see if I can put a link down at the bottom. If not, there'll be an end cap for him. Anyhow, let's see what else we can get into. Be back in a little bit. Alright guys, the power supply I showed you out in my work area was just for demonstration purposes. I'm going to be using this guy here, and I finally decided where I'm going to put him. I'm going to put him right down here with my command station, since I already have a shelf down there, and then I'll just run a bus wire from there back around this way to feed the Tortoise machines I have up in the Drake cement area. Finally, give you an idea what this is going to look like. I put my temporarily put my Piers in, if you want to call them that, and there's two there, and there's the other two there, and as you can see, I'm going to have the mountain slope down to the valley, and then it'll be coming down to here, and you'll see the marker. I'm going to cut that out right there, and then in the back, you're going to see this very well, but I'm going to bring that down to the valley floor also. Anyhow, I hope you guys and gals enjoyed this video, and as always, your questions, comments, input, subs, shares, and likes are always welcome. If for now, that's all folks. BNSF 6951 out.